I'm going to throw some numbers out at you that show you why Caitlin Clark should walk up to the heads, the bosses of the WNBA and all of these streaming service and just go, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Now, maybe it's not proper English. Maybe it's not the kind of English one would use in contract negotiation, but for Caitlin Clark, it's effective. You're going to make $2.2 billion in this league. Gimme. Gimme. Nah, I won't take 2.2. I want to leave the rest for others. I'll take the 0.2 first, and then we'll make our way from there. We'll figure it out because it is the summer of Caitlin Clark. It is the league of Caitlin Clark. And the other night against the worst team in the WNBA, which means arguably the worst team in sport, according to Sport Media Watch, listen to this. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever taking on in Dallas the Dallas Wings. The matchup Wednesday night averaged 1.7 million viewers on ESPN. The Fever, listen to this, has had 14 games on your television of more than 1 million viewers. Listen to this. Now, this is where it gets gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. The last time a WNBA game before Caitlin Clark and this year hit 1 million viewers was 2008. Now, I'm going to say that again. Prior to this season, it's written right here, and if Nick and Nick write it, I know it's the truth. Prior to this season, the last time the WNBA had a game reach at least 1 million television viewers was in 2008. Lots happened. I did not even have a media career in 2008. Still married in 2008 to my first wife. My kids were in high school, maybe starting high school, not even in high school. They're out of college, working jobs, 2008. Just to remind guys like me, 2008 was 16 years ago. Wow. A legal person driving years ago. But now they've had 14. It's unbelievable what this woman has done. I'm almost going to say that she's the Donald Trump of the WNBA. Now, I don't know whether she'd like that or not. I don't really care. I don't know her. But think about what they have done to her. What they have done to her, let's recap. Breaking down Caitlin Clark's start to her WNBA career. First, the angry lesbian spoke out and said, "Oh, it's coming. The day of reckoning is coming. She will get hers." Okay, that was before the season even started. Instead of saying, "Oh my God, we embrace, this is great, this is awesome." No. As Michael Thompson, father of Clay, said on this very show, man, the old guard, what do you call it? Jeep, jealousy, envy, something, and I don't know, something else. How about that? It was so bad that a former number one pick, current Laker analyst and NBA champ had to name it an acurism. I don't know. Acurism. I don't know. My brain is foggy. I got long Biden. That's what I got. I got long Biden. Anyway, let's review. So it started with all of that. Then it morphed, of course, into Greg Doyle, the creeper from Indianapolis. I like that you're here. Make a heart and we'll get along just fine. Remember that creepy guy from the great state of Indiana, although he's not, from the great city of Indy, although he's not, America's creepiest, most useless writer, got caught being a creeper. And it started a chain of events, or it added to a chain of events, the likes of which we've never seen. Adult males, middle-aged adult males, just simply couldn't handle being around Caitlin Clark. I like that you're here. Make a heart to me. And she's like, yo, what? To the point where the Indiana Fever and the WNBA had to say, yo, Indy Star, the dude's creeper. Put a restraining order on him. Don't allow him to cover our games in person. He wants to sit at home with a warm towel and a bottle of Jergens and watch. Great. but he can't come into our arena to cover Caitlin Clark, and everybody agreed. So now Doyle is writing about guys who scored 90 points in a game in 1971. That's where he belongs. And Caitlin Clark just continued to go on. She handled it perfectly. Oh, you like that, huh? Awkward, middle-aged, creeper. But I've told you about Doyle. Enough about Doyle. I told you about him years ago. I told you that he was among the worst human beings. He used to be a friend of mine. He was. And then I realized what he was doing, preying on married women who had just had kids, who were depressed and vulnerable. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to keep you at arm's length. People made fun of me. He showed his ass. All right, next, Asia Wilson invokes race, talking about Caitlin Clark's popularity. Now, this started a bunch of different things from the immature, angry old guard of the WNBA, Becky Hammond. There's no problems here. Where's my girlfriend? They do this all the time. They were angry. Asia Wilson, well, she's only getting her flowers because she's a white girl. Oh, okay. Is that why? Thank you for that. The level of stupid and immaturity from Asia Wilson, all you got to do is watch her once, and she is the best player in the league. But she's like a 10-year-old. And all the little girls followed. Some crazy little girl named Kennedy Carter or Shahanity or whatever the hell her name is decided it was a good idea to knock her on her ass. Then another little girl, I can't remember her name, literally was so jacked up to guard Caitlin Clark, and I've never seen this before, made a free throw. She had 2 shots. You know, you get fouled in basketball while you're shooting, you get 2 shots. She made a free throw, had 2 shots, had another one, and was so jacked up about guarding Caitlin Clark, she ran over and played defense. And everybody in the arena said, whoa, you got another shot, dummy. That's how fired up these crazy-ass women were to play against Caitlin Clark. It was insanity. Our friend Pat McAfee, trying hard to be down with what the WNBA women were calling Caitlin Clark, which was a white biatch. He used a comment. It went viral. I wish he didn't apologize because anybody with a brain was knowing what he's doing. Let me back up. The WNBA office, along with the Fever, had to step in on African-American players to tell them, this is what I'm told, to stop the racist comments or there would be fines. Because it was all about white biatch. We saw that Kennedy Carter girl. We saw Angel Reese and her silliness, her stupidity, her drama. We saw it all. And this is just the first half of her season. This is just the first half. And then people want me to say the head slap by Angel Reese. There was nothing there. That was a basketball play. I'm not giving into that. We're only talking about things that matter. But through the whole thing, encompassing the whole thing were the idiotic comments. Sure, a lot were racial. But the comments, well, she only brings shooting to the game. The level of stupid, immaturity, jealousy, pettiness, that was the P in Jeep. Envy, that was one of the E's. I'll add another E, embarrassing. Caitlin Clark exposed that the WNBA was not ready for the big time. And what Caitlin Clark did was stay above the fray. You ever see her make a misstep? You ever see her criticize one of these crazy-ass women that are losing their mind? You ever see her, like that big old Cardosa, in a press conference doing her hair? You ever see her act like a 2-year-old, like when Becky Hammond and Asia Wilson did a press conference about Caitlin Clark? No. What have you seen? A woman. A true woman. A young woman that is acting as women do. Mature, smart, above it. And she continues to do her job. She continues to improve at a level which has now put her in not only the Rookie of the Year discussion, but the most valuable player of the year discussion. She has moved up in the betting markets to 3rd. We told you that was going to happen. I went to see Caitlin Clark on Friday, last Friday, a week ago today, with some friends. Glad I did. I saw everything. I saw her greatness. I saw her court vision. I saw her shooting. Saw the bad, too. She's not a perfect person, not a perfect player, but I like this part. The fire, telling a ref to basically F off, telling her coach they're not running the offense, sulking a bit in the fourth quarter, and I loved every minute of it. I did. All eyes on Caitlin. Everybody else good player, don't get me wrong. WNBA's fun, particularly here in Indianapolis, where it's sold out. The characters involved, Caitlin Clark, Lynn Dunn, are interesting. Everybody's on the coach's ass, which makes it even more interesting. And this is just the first half of her first season. Now we take a break. WNBA goes on hiatus. All-Star Weekend, then the Olympics. Not coming back for a month. We'll see. Will it dissipate? Will it grow? Don't know. But I know this. While everybody else is losing their mind, Caitlin Clark has kept hers and made everybody elevate to her. Let's see here. Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd is terrific. I'm a big Colin Cowherd fan, always have been. Like talking to him when I was at ESPN NNN. He dropped some truth bombs about ESPN NNN. See, no matter what you say about ESPN, the people that work at ESPN understand we're ESPN. We're going to get attacked. Don't care. That's the other side. Here's Colin's side. He claims the four-letter network no longer has the same leverage with talent that it used to. Boy, is that true. Making a comparison to LeBron and the NBA. Listen to the most interesting man not named Dakich in media, Colin Cowherd.
Well, there's so many platforms now and so many places for on-air or performers or entertainers to go. And so it used to be like an ESPN had all the leverage, but they don't anymore. And so on-air people have equal leverage. In my case, I don't think you ever want to abuse that, but I've got a radio contract. I'm getting my XM Sirius rights here pretty soon. I have a Fox deal. I have the volume. I have a deal with DraftKings. These didn't exist, all these avenues. And YouTube. And so there's multiple places that a Simmons, a McAfee, whoever can go. And that gives them leverage. And I think it also gives you freedom. It's almost like what happened with the shoe business for NBA players. You used to be an NBA player. And then all of a sudden there were more teams. So there's more opportunities. And then Converse and Nike and Adidas. And now there's secondary revenue streams. And now there's social media. And a basketball player can make 7 figures on Instagram, Nike, his basketball team. He creates a production company or a podcast. And so players now have more leverage. I mean, LeBron James got total leverage over the Lakers, complete, utter, and that's the number one brand in the league. So I think it's a combination of certain people grow a big enough brand that they have more options and more companies coming after them. And I think the way to attain the best people is to allow them some freedom. And I am allowed that at my companies. iHeart, Fox Sports. I have very give and take relationships.
Boy, is he right about that. I mean, when I first started in this and got an ESPN deal, I was like, wow, I got to keep this. This is the biggest thing ever. And then as the ESPN evolved and I evolved and I didn't want to be, kind of put in a box by ESPN. Everything you say, everything you do that doesn't go along with whatever they think, you got to answer for it, and I didn't want to. Thankfully, Clay Travis came along. Thankfully, Clay and OutKick came along, and they've given me the opportunity of a lifetime with a team. Best team I've ever been involved in. But I also have a deal with local radio station, numerous other places. It's fun. He's right. Now, in terms of a professional athlete, there's very few LeBrons. There are very few LeBrons. Like LeBron does have the leverage, and maybe there's very few people in broadcasting like Colin Cowherd. You could make that same claim, but I would say there's a bunch more. There's a bunch of these sites that you don't even know about that pay very well, and you can add other things to it. But in terms of LeBron, I don't disagree. He has leverage. LeBron is the guy. In terms of all talent on television, look, I think I know I'm older, but I think my tastes reflect what most people feel. It's always sort of kind of been that way. And I got to tell you, I have no interest in watching Get Up. I come downstairs. I have my studio here, and I have a big screen TV right there. And frankly, I never turn it on. You would think in the morning you're turning it on because you want to see what's going on in sports, particularly when you do a morning show like I do. But I got no interest because they're not going to tell me anything. I got no interest because the people they put on there are uninteresting. Now, if I turn it on and I see Craig Carton, I like Craig Carton, so I'll watch that depending on who his guests are. But there's a lot of ways to go about it. And again, I look at it like, hey, like last night, I'm one of the few people, and once I said it, a lot of people joined in. Man, Donald Trump went too long with that speech. Now, everybody's in love with Donald Trump right now, as am I. I'm going to vote for him 100 times if I can do it the Democratic way. But the fact of the matter is it went too long. And once I said that, boy, oh boy, like open the flow. I'm glad you said that, Dan. Yeah, it did. And I agree. Look, I'm saying to you, all these other areas have come into our life. You can sit at home at night, not turn your TV on, and watch reel after reel, and next thing you know, it's like watching 3 sitcoms on a Friday night in the 70s, finished by the Carol Burnett show. He's right. He's really right. But I would argue there are very few players, very few whose brand resonates in the NBA. Maybe one a team. Maybe. Maybe not one a team. Brad Stevens famously said about the NBA, about 15 to 20 superstars. The rest are role players. Now, you can go to the NBA Hall of Fame, the National Basketball Hall of Fame, being a role player. You can make millions, hundreds of millions of dollars being a role player. That is very true. It's the same thing in the brand world. A lot of really good role players, very few superstars. Cowherd, superstar. LeBron, superstar. Me, I'm just a role player. But it's good wood. It's a good role. I like it. It's great. Rachel Nichols, speaking of LeBron James, this is going to be the LeBron James portion of this program. Rachel Nichols, who famously got booted from her own show because of a coup after the George Floyd era showed up, Rachel Nichols says that the media, of all things, is being unfair to Bronny James. Here's Rachel Nichols.
Bronny's game been fair or unfair?
Totally unfair. I think that people are looking at him as if he is a top 10 pick. He is not a top 10 pick. He is a number 55 pick. The expectations for a number 55 pick should be that you are largely headed to the G League and may get some games up in the NBA. Last year's number 55 pick played 4 total minutes in the NBA. He didn't average 4 minutes a game in the NBA, 4 total minutes, and those came in one game. So to evaluate Bronny next to top 10 picks versus what other guys at number 55 has done is totally unfair. And obviously it's going to happen. We're all watching him more because of who he is and the fact that he's playing on the Lakers. Don't forget that, too, in addition to being LeBron's son. But he is not playing at a level that's so much below where other players who have been in his position have played in the past. In fact, Alex Sarr, who was the number 2 pick overall, just had a bomber of a game, right? 0 points, 0 for 15 from the floor,
15 in a
right?
game.
0 for 7 from the three-point line. And that's a number 2 pick overall. Bronny James is a number 55 pick. J.J. Redick has come out and said he is a developmental player. We all knew this going in. So to sit there and criticize him for Summer League numbers that, as I have said several times, stats do not matter in Summer League. We have seen guys have bad Summer Leagues and go on to have good NBA careers. What Bronny needs to get used to in Summer League is the speed of the game. He needs to get used to new coaches and teammates and new schemes. And he has to get used to the attention he's getting, because that is one of the other things.
Yeah, she's full of shit, and she just shows you she doesn't know anything about basketball. There's nothing to do with comparing him to other 55 players. It has to do with actually people that know how to watch basketball, watching basketball. And it has to do with saying, can this guy justify being a draft choice over others that have worked their ass off, had successful college careers? And the answer right now is no. That's what it's about. No one's comparing him to being a player in the NBA. They're not. Everybody that is watching this is saying, hey, look, all right, here's the deal. You can watch him play and tell he's not an NBA player, period. And it doesn't matter whether it's a summer league or whether it's in a street park. Rachel Nichols has never done anything but talk on TV in terms of basketball. She never coached. She never played. She never evaluated. She never scouted. She hasn't done nothing. So the truth of the matter is you can go out to a park. You can go out to a park and go, all right, that guy can play and I can tell you what level he can play. That guy can't play. It's like my dad. When my brother was 9 and I was 7, my dad told my mother, Dan's going to be a college basketball player if he loves it. Our older son's going to be a lawyer, and he was spot on. You can tell, and it's just so stupid. And another reason why we have such lack of depth in our conversation about sports, because we take these DEI hires who have their little voices, and they talk, and everybody goes, yeah, you know. Well, Alex Sarr, you can watch for 2 minutes and go, okay, that's an NBA player. Doesn't matter if he goes 10 for 15 in the Summer League. Doesn't matter if he goes 0 for 15 in the Summer League. All you got to do is watch for 5 minutes, and you go, that guy's an NBA player. His position may or may not be justified as the number 2 pick. You can watch Bronny for 5 minutes, and you go, yeah, I don't give a damn if he scores 18 points tonight. He can't play. No, I just can't play. He's going to play. He's going to be in the league. There is going to be a game where he comes out with his dad in a Laker uniform and they play in the same game. It's going to happen. That's the setup. But for her to come out and say, well, we're being unfair. No one's being unfair because people, some, can actually see, can actually evaluate. We've had a kid on here named Danny Plesac. Danny Plesac was 12 years old, and I remember Danny, he's a Major League Baseball player if he doesn't get hurt. I mean, you could tell. Then there was other guys, bearded, threw harder than Danny at 12 years old, and you're like, yeah, he'll be working in the mill. But you can tell. She can't. But if you can't watch Alex Sarr and say, well, I don't give a damn so if he made 11 of the 15 shots and he's really good, oh, stop it. It has nothing to do with the numbers. It has to do with people that are veterans at watching the sport going, okay, this is where he fits in. And frankly, it ain't rocket science. You watch Bronny James, it is very clear he would not be in the Summer League if his dad wasn't LeBron James. You watch Bronny James, he probably wouldn't have been at USC. He certainly would not have been a McDonald's All-American. He would be a really good, nice MAC player. He would not have started on my better teams at Bowling Green. Just wouldn't have. Right now. Just wouldn't have. He'd have been a nice 6th, 7th man for us. Hell, one of our guards played in the NBA for 9 years, Keith McLeod. There's dudes everywhere that can play. And Rachel Nichols is just another little DEI hire that doesn't know. And every guy is afraid to say, well, she had a show. I don't give a damn. I've been on those shows. They don't know their ass from third base. They get a script, they write, they scratch something out that they want to say. They have an opinion. Somebody calls them, says, hey, can you do this? Just stop. Anybody that has any sense at all that watches basketball, can scout basketball, agrees with what I just said. Nice player. Would not be in that league. And this is not before. I didn't watch Bronny James in high school. I'm not about to watch anybody in the McDonald's All-American game. And I didn't see a single USC basketball game this entire year. So I've watched him in the Summer League. Took me about 3 minutes. Yeah, he wouldn't be there if it weren't for his dad. Rachel Nichols and others like her just show themselves to be really stupid whenever they try to evaluate anything other than, oh, hi, I'm here with Richard Jefferson. Hi, Richard. That's it. That is it. And I include Doris Burke in that as well. Don't at me about it. Don't think about it. If you think that's harsh, I got 2 words for you, Joe Biden style. Tough. It's true. It's really true. Well, I think we're being unfair. Oh, okay, really? Yeah. All right, Dan Lebitard argues, and I agree with him, LeBron's empire will be bigger than Michael Jordan's. I don't think people realize that LeBron is going to be so much bigger post-NBA than Michael was. I'm not sure either of them are going to be as big as Junior Bridgman. You don't know who Junior Bridgman is, but Junior Bridgman was a really good player. East Chicago, Washington, 1971 state champs, went to Louisville, went to the Final Four, played in the NBA for a long time. Took all that money, bought himself basically every Wendy's in the world. Like has money, not in the world, but he has all the Wendy's franchises that you can imagine. If you've eaten at a Wendy's, you've eaten at Junior Bridgman. Then he bought Pepsi, distributorship, PepsiCo. Got more money than God. But let's stay with Jordan and LeBron because that's a comparison of the day. And I always go to this. Universal Studios, my wife, myself, my buddy Bart Fox, were out there doing the Michigan UCLA game. I had a guy that wanted me to be an agent, wanted to be my agent, named Matt Kramer of CAA. I met with them. They said, hey, you want a tour of Universal Studios? They were trying to woo me. I said, sure. The head of Universal Studios got on a Cushman golf cart, took us around. He showed us a building that was part of a set. He says, that's LeBron James's office. We give him an office on the set because when he brings us a project, his group brings us a project, it's really well done and really well organized. He said, that's very different from Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is a fly-by-night deal, but Magic Johnson is a billionaire as well. But LeBron James has a business sense, at least his crew does, and a loyalty and an intelligence that Dan Le Batard is absolutely right. Here's what Dan Le Batard had to say.
LeBron can do whatever he wants. Like, it's absurd.
Well, he just did.
Yeah, but it's not just that. Like, he's pushing the boundaries on the absurdity of, yep, coach is my podcast host. Yep, son plays for the team. Anyone got any objections? Give me the max. 2 years, $100 million. And if you could, you'd have to pay me more for it. If there weren't a salary cap and you wanted it, it would cost you a lot. You're getting me cheap. You're getting my son cheap. You're paying me and my son, the way I make money through clutch management and everything else. I don't think people realize that LeBron's going to be so much bigger post all of this than Michael was with just Nike. Because he's going to make and do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants in this sport and beyond it. Make movies, media stuff. It's going to be crazy to watch what this competitive of a person does against the McAfees and Peyton Mannings and the Tom Bradys when he gets into the sphere that he doesn't have to actually do basketball anymore.
I'm not certain he'll reach the Jordan level. I mean, that's pretty lofty. We'll see. I'm not saying he won't. I'm not sure.
It doesn't even have to be money, Stugotz. I'm just saying empires. He's going to have players as agents. He's going to own a team. He's going to be able to make movies and content with an ESPN relationship and everything else that allows him to just come over here and say, man, the Peyton Manning deal, Stugotz, is like 9 years, $700 million with ESPN.
It's crazy.
Dad, I love that you said all that, but Stugotz still couldn't help turning it into a LeBron versus Jordan debate.
I mean, he took me there. I mean, he did.
You let him right into it. You should have known
better. Same topic.
Like, oh, he's going to be bigger than Jordan. No, you should have known better. You were never going to get a real answer out of him.
I love when knee pad Stugotz chimes in. Danny Le Batard, the Kamala Harris of sports radio or sports talk is Stugotz. Get the knee pads out and have at it. Look, he's right. LeBron James, because of the market and because of his intelligence and because of how he's maneuvered himself during the course of his NBA career, and the key word there was relationship, the relationship with ESPN. Now, here's the problem. Here is the problem. LeBron James isn't really likable. He's really not likable. He's stiff. He's really unlikable. Now, Peyton Manning has become likable. Peyton Manning is the guy that when he says, though, everybody goes, oh, God dang, that Peyton's so damn funny, I can't even tell you. He's a knee slapper, that Peyton. He's so funny and cute. LeBron James isn't that. It's like Gronkowski and McAfee. McAfee, wholly likable, polished, smart. Gronkowski is exactly what his name sounds like. One of us. Just a D's, dem, and dozers. I'm a big Polish, Serbian. Hey, it is what it is. He has not morphed into being a serious guy, and every time he shows up on a set, it's just Gronk. It's not his fault. Not smart enough to change the narrative. Maybe he doesn't have to, Gronk. But you get my point. Some people are built for this. Jordan built for everything. The movie Space Jam with Jordan compared to the movie Space Jam with LeBron, stunning. Yeah, and that's going to be the difference. LeBron staying behind the scenes is going to be very important because he's just not a likable guy. He lies. I haven't heard him say a word about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but he is our social justice warrior. He's full of shit in that regard, but that's all right. I'm not mad at what Dan Le Batard said. I think what he said is going to be right. All right, last night was the final night of the convention, and I got to tell you, I've never watched a convention. My view of the convention is a bunch of middle-aged white dude cheerleaders wearing straw hats with a ribbon around it, waving banners for candidates that are talking to them. And a little bit of that happened last night, but I got to tell you, Last night was fun. Last night was really fun. Mike Pompeo was really good as a speaker. Kid Rock, I'm not sure any of the guys, gals in the audience got what Kid Rock was doing, but that's okay. Kid Rock brought energy. Hulk Hogan, I thought at first was going to be kind of stupid, but it turned out to be really good because, I don't know, I felt like instead of Hulk Hogan being a huckster, being the guy that says, hey, lady, come on over here and I'll guess your weight, I thought he had a sincere friendship with Trump that shined through and a sincere love of the United States of America. I thought Melania Trump was absolutely stunning, and it's amazing that Vogue and all these little fashion magazines can't put her on because they hate her husband so much and they're afraid of being called racist. But she's the most beautiful woman not named Lee Ross in the world, and I got to tell you, she's smarter than any of these people, and she was magnificent. The other thing that really struck me last night was Trump's family. What a good-looking family. What a well-spoken, good-looking family. I think it was Eric Trump that spoke last night. He was terrific. I happened to see him the night before on Hannity, and I thought he was fabulous. Last night also on Hannity, this was really good. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz and Sean Hannity sat there on set and had a fantastic adult discussion about the world, about where we're at. It wasn't overly partisan. It wasn't we're better than them. It was actually kind of unifying. It was actually kind of nice to see a couple politicians saying, look, this is what we think, this is what we're going to do, and have an open debate. Not a debate, actually. That's the wrong word. Just a discussion. It was refreshing, and I sat there and went, you know what? I'd support a Rubio Cruz ticket. I would. I thought the whole thing was fantastic. All right, let's get into some of it. Here's Hulk Hogan doing his thing.
But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero? And they tried to kill the next president of the United States. Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
That was pretty cool. My brother, who is not necessarily a Republican, his wife certainly isn't, he was on the floor last night, or maybe in a suite, and he's like, this place is crazy electric. It was unifying last night, which made it fun. It was. Dana White spoke as well. I forgot about Dana White. He flew in from Sardinia off a yacht on a vacation. Here's what Dana White had to say.
The choice is clear. But this election, we all get to choose. I know I'm going to choose strength and security. I know I'm going to choose opportunity and prosperity. I know I'm going to choose real American leadership and a real American badass. And I'm not telling you what choice to make, and I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. I know America needs a strong leader, and the world needs a strong America. I know Donald J. Trump is the best choice for President of the United States.
That's pretty good. America needs a strong leader, and the world needs a strong American. That's about as good a line and true a line as can possibly be. And then, of course, Donald Trump spoke. And he was great. I thought he went too long. I mean, if I'm going to be honest with you, that's what they pay me to do, be honest with my opinions. But I got to tell you, I thought he was pretty damn good. Here's the former president, and I think next president.
So tonight, whether you've supported me in the past or not, I hope you will support me in the future, because I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. You don't even hear about the American dream anymore. With great humility I am asking you to be excited about the future of our country. Be excited. Be excited.
Yeah, man. I'm writing it down. America needs a strong leader. The world needs a strong American. That's so true. Donald Trump gave a great speech last night. Donald Trump gave a unifying speech last night. I don't blame Donald Trump for saying, yo, hey, how about we get rid of all the nonsense, the charges, the silliness, the political opponent going after. How about we unify the country? Now what you're hearing and all you're hearing is pandering. I'm giving away student loan money. Donald Trump is a neo-Nazi, AOC said last night. I don't know. He didn't look like a neo-Nazi to me, whatever the hell that means. But how about, and it'll be interesting to see, first, who's going to be the guy up there? Because there's no way in hell Joe Biden could make that speech. And the rumors are flying that Joe Biden is going to drop out of the race as soon as maybe today, certainly this weekend, maybe Sunday. That's what is being said. Don't know. My guess is Biden, his wife, his son, his inner circle will fight that tooth and nail. I would. Who the hell wants to give up being the president of the United States if I haven't committed a crime that's going to get me in jail? You know, back in the day, they basically told Nixon, look, resign or we're going to prosecute you. He resigned. Smart. But the fact of the matter is this race isn't over. People say this race is over. There's going to be a convention bump in terms of the polls, but you and I both know where I'm going with this. And if you don't know, you haven't been paying attention. It's not who votes. It's who counts the votes. Hey, Nick, you're a young guy. Do you even know who the hell Hulk Hogan is? Come on.
Come on, brother. Of course I know who Hulk Hogan is. He was an absolute.
Would you please put your hat on? Would you please put your hat on? Will you please? It's Friday. The ladies need to see it. The swashbuckling Italian, the combination Crocodile Dundee, mob hitman. You know, if you wore a long trench coat, you might get frisked everywhere for having a rifle under that thing. You look very, very suspicious right now.
There's a cartoon or like a character that you're kind of referencing that's like coming to mind, but he's like wrinkly, he's got long hair, spitting blood. I don't know who it is, and it's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't know who it is. It's not the Punisher.
No, I'm with you.
I'm not as cool as the Punisher, but it's some old ass.
Did you? Hey, I forgot to ask you. Did you go out with that hat last week? And
hell no, dude. Of course not. I actually like this hat, and I have a feeling if I get jumped, they're going to steal it from me, and I don't want to lose this hat. This is a treasure.
I agree with that. I completely agree with that. So let me ask you, you watched the debate last night. As a young guy, what'd you think?
I love Dana White. I like him as a person. I like him as a businessman, but that really fired me up. Trump, I did fall asleep after he mentioned Sam Brown because it just kept kind of going on and on and on. But I thought it was incredible. I thought if you don't vote for him, I don't know what else would make you vote for him, because that speech last night was electrifying. He's doing
our boss.
He didn't say anything to create division. A lot of what he said was based around love, and he mentioned that word, I would say 24 times.
Our boss, Gary, said, I don't know this, but I don't know this, but I know this. Dana White's probably the first human being to ever leave Sardinia willingly in the summer off a yacht to go to Milwaukee. That's true.
Of all places, Milwaukee.
Oh, man. All right. I love the hat. I do. You got to wear the hat today. It's Friday. It's hat day.